ladies and gentlemen, as our new spokesman, Michael will deliver the LDDS WorldCom message to millions of people.
So when we shoot the commercial?
Commercial?
We had something a little different in mind.
Hi, this is Michael Jordan. This is Michael Jordan for LDDS WorldCom Long Distance. Hello. I'm calling you to tell you about all the different services we offer.
Could this be Michael Jordan?
Thank you for your time. We have our own fiber optic network. This is Michael Jordan.
Come on, Tommy.
We have a calling card, broadcast fax, international services. Come on, Mike. Come on. Conference calling. You know, they have these prepaid calling cards with this good-looking guy on them.
Let's go to the phones. We have a caller, Michael from Chicago.
You know, you really should get a toll-free number from LDDS WorldCom.
Is there a question in there, Michael?
Michael Jordan on line 5.
Hello?
Oh my gosh, it's him.
Hi, this is Michael Jordan for LDDS WorldCom Long Distance Service. I'm calling to tell you about the...
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies, cuts through, and captures the essence of the evolutionary spirit. Greed in all of its forms. Greed for life, for money, for love, knowledge, has marked the upward surge of mankind, and greed, you mark my words, will not only save Teldar Paper, but that other malfunctioning corporation called the USA. Thank you very much.
The answer? The biggest accounting fraud in the history of corporate America.
They began to draw down on reserves, inflate their income when the reserves, as they must be, were ultimately exhausted. Then they undertook even more brazen efforts at restating expenses as capital expenditures, which had the effect of raising the income.
WorldCom would make good on its earnings numbers for Wall Street by making those numbers up.
If the actual numbers were used and not the cooked numbers, it would show that they missed those earning targets in 11 out of the 13 quarters between 1998 and 2002. And in the 4 of the last 5 quarters prior to the actual bankruptcy, they actually lost money.
Let's pretend you buy a truck. That's an asset worth, say, 20 grand. It's capitalized. Capitalize means to record as an asset and be able to amortize or depreciate in value over time. Now, let's presume you pump up your truck with gas for $60 and drive around for the rest of the week. That gas is an expense. It's used up. It wouldn't be right to capitalize since the fuel is gone and you can't use it again in the future. It decreases your gross income by $60. Now, let's say you're a crooked person and want to cheat the system. Instead of recording the fuel as an expense, you could capitalize it, mark it down as an asset, instead. That way, the fuel wouldn't affect your income statement or your net income. That's what WorldCom did, only on a much bigger scale. They capitalized their long-distance line costs, which amount as the single largest expense for telecommunications companies, as prepaid capacity. Translation? They cheated. Big time.
While his company was committing the biggest accounting fraud in corporate history, Bernie Ebbers was ready to make life miserable for any employee who didn't turn off the lights. That fraud started in earnest after WorldCom's deal to acquire Sprint was turned away by federal regulators in the summer of 2000.
With the Sprint deal being killed, it put us in a situation, who were you going to buy of any size? So now you had to turn it into an operations company. And the question was posed, I think, on the street as well as internally is, you know, how well will Bernie do as an operating CEO versus an acquisition and growth CEO?
Bernie Ebbers worried about smoking breaks. President of Customer Service Diana Day laid down some new rules she said Ebbers was demanding. This conference call between Day and her senior managers was obtained by CNBC.
Well, this is the whole list of things right here that at the end of the meeting Bernie has for all of us to sum it all up, go back to the old way, the old, quote, LDDS way of doing business. He wants us to go back to black and white presentations. We all can afford a dime or a quarter for a cup of coffee. Also, no more paying for bottled water and no coffee pods at desk. When you walk out of your office, turn off your lights. He said, either you execute or he's going to get involved. So, you know what that means. Just go ahead and do it, or your life will be absolutely miserable.
Today are a result of an extensive investigation of WorldCom Incorporated.
In August of 2002, the Justice Department indicted several top WorldCom executives. The charges followed the company's own admission that its profits for the previous 3 years were an illusion. Massive accounting fraud had made a business gone bad look good.
The employees and all of the victims during today's hearing, you gave a very impassioned plea saying that Bernard Ebbers and Scott Sullivan essentially ruined your career.
Yes, Bertha. I was in one of the largest sales groups, the National Accounts Group, based here in Manhattan, and we were one of the most profitable sales channels of all of WorldCom, and with this collapse in the fraud, basically, it disintegrated the entire company. And I ended up losing my job over a period of time.
I noticed that you sat very unpersuaded as Weingarten pleaded with the judge for leniency. What do you think of this sentence?
I think that the sentence was in effect a life sentence for Mr. Ebbers. I hope that that sends a signal that that type of corporate activity would not be tolerated anymore in corporate America, and hopefully it will deter people from hurting investors, former employees like myself, who basically have little or no
You figure that each person is probably has, a spouse and a child. Say it's 2.5, that's 17,000 people in our company whose lives were affected in a very negative way.
Well, you laid them off.
We laid them off, and that's
because
just in our
you were
company,
trying
to get our costs in line with what their costs appeared to be.
Attention, investors that lost your money in WorldCom stock. WorldCom is in bankruptcy, but the brokers, investment bankers, and others that perpetuated and facilitated the fraud are not. At the Braddock Law Firm, we are aggressively pursuing the rights of WorldCom's victims against those that profited from the fraud. Don't take it on the chin. Try and get your money back. Call me, Tal Braddock, today for a free consultation. 1-800-323-0598.
That way. I don't know how you get up and, if you're a man, and shave every morning and look at yourself in the mirror, how you could live a life knowing the type of things that you're doing, knowing that it's wrong,